सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So last time we saw the difference between Manasa Karma and Jnanam. Any questions, clarification? Somebody had said they had questions.
Yeah. This Pratyabhijna.
Pratyabhijna. Yep.
It means identity.
Yeah.
But here also in Dakshinamurti, it comes Prag.
Yes.
Prabodha Sama.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm
See,
not.
Pratyabhijna is said from two standpoints.
Yeah.
Basically, it is, you recognize this pen?
Last time it was there with you.
Last time also you had used the same pen as an example. So, this is the same pen I used last time is called Pratyabhijna.
Yeah,
The same Abhijnatam. Okay? Now, the same is true with respect to the self also.
I see.
Like, you'll say, hey, I was a kid, then I was a young man, and now I'm old. The recognition of the I is there in spite of all the changing circumstances. You don't know the truth, but just the recognition of the I, that's also Pratyabhijna.
Yeah, that is also.
Therefore, in Dakshinamurti is saying, how do you recognize waking dream and deep sleep? Pratyabhijna of I, constant in all the three experiences. So in all the experiences, you are there. Experiences are variable, you are the invariable in Swamiji's language. So that is Pratyabhijna.
Nothing to do with my identity with Ishvara.
No, then this Pratyabhijna, if I don't know the truth, shrouded in ignorance, takes itself judgment by circumstances, association, roles, etc. Okay? So the Upanishad comes and says, no, all these are not intrinsic to your nature. Drop all that. And it shows how to drop with all the logic, all that thing it shows. Then what is left behind?
Consciousness.
The Sakshi, the witness. He is identified with Ishvara. And from Ishvara, that Ishvaratvam is dropped. And you recognize that you are nothing but the pure consciousness which is everything. So that is so Pratyabhijna comes useful up to there. To show continuity, Pratyabhijna is necessary. And that is the answer against Kshanika Vijnanavada, which will say you are momentary. There is no continuity. So Pratyabhijna is the answer to that. So it's an important point in the understanding. See, they may look like debates and discussions, but they are all here for your understanding. Because certain doubts you are not thought of.
Actually, I discussed it with Kiran also first.
Good.
But we both got confused.
Okay. It's okay, it doesn't matter. That chintanam, that kathanam is part of the game. So, discussing with each other is good. Because it's knowledge, it's not blind acceptance. It's not belief centered. Not belief centered. Any other questions, clarification?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah?
So we have Sukshma Sharir, then Sthul, and again one more Karan Sharir.
Yeah.
What is this Karan Sharir?
Ajnanam. What are you in deep sleep?
Yeah.
So the Ajnanam will include your unconscious. It will include all your karmic thing. That's the connection is with the Karana Sharir. Yeah. And all the unconscious that you are buried inside. Your
That is Karan.
samskaras and memories from previous lifetimes. All that is there in the unconscious called Karana Sharira. Why Karanam? Because it gives a shape to your mental makeup right now. So that way. Yeah, you're going back to fundamental, that's okay, that's fine.
So many unconscious, subconscious, all is taken one.
Beg your pardon?
Unconscious and subconscious, everything is one only. It's in Vedanta.
No. Subconscious is part of your Sukshma Sharira, your mind. Karna Sharira is your unconscious. And ignorance. What are you in deep sleep? You are in potential condition. So all that you can be and all that's going to manifest in your life is in a potential condition in Karna Sharira. That does not include the freedom of choice you make consciously today. That is in your Sukshma Sharira, your mind. Because there is a freedom of choice which is God given. Everyone has that freedom of choice. How much you choose to exercise it is a different thing. How much you are limited by. You are limited by your own self-awareness, your imagination and your knowledge, etc. Your background. That's all present. So that's part of your conscious mind, thinking, etc. But all the three are what? I am, it's all based on me, I am independent of all the three.
Yeah, so mithya.
Yeah. It's part of the mithya world, yes. Because mithya is not, as I said, mithya can be functionally real.
It gives lot of trouble actually.
Why? Because I have taken myself also to be a mithya entity. I am the Satyam, but I have taken myself to be mithya. I have taken myself to be, look at it. So understand this well, The body by itself is inert. Cannot say I. It's only because the mind is associated with it. Okay?
And prana also.
Prana is part of the Sukshma Sharira, energy systems.
Okay.
Now, the consciousness is not a limited entity. It is a consciousness that makes a mind and body active. Now, I don't know I am consciousness. So what happens? But this consciousness manifests in the mind. It's sahajam, natural. Wherever there is a mind, consciousness will manifest there. Now, that manifested consciousness does not know I am limitlessness. So what will you do? You create an identity, a basic fundamental identity for yourself by associating with the body and the mind. I am this much only. This is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what I do. Fundamental. It's purely adhyasa, not true. Look at it, it's purely conceptual. This is your conceptual self. Otherwise known as adhyasa. A mistake, a mistaken notion of what you really are. Now on this we load further roles, etc., etc., etc. So the whole thing is centered on a concept of what you are. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything that you do is based on this conceptual self. Go to the moon and come back, conceptual self. Go to heaven and come back, conceptual self. Try to know the truth. Who is knowing? Conceptual self is trying to know. No? Remember what we saw in Adhyasa Bhashya? The beginning introduction to this text. Iyam adhyasam puraskrit. Sarve pramana prame vyavahara. Or keeping this adhyasa and you alone is all your activities. Including your spiritual thing. Because all of it is done by the conceptual self. So what is Vedanta? Calling the bluff of the conceptual self. All the bluff. Hey, know the truth of what you are. That is why, since it's knowledge oriented, the whole last class discussion, the Bhashya discussion, that even though knowledge takes place in the mind, this is one thing. For all of us who have heard, it's beyond the mind, beyond the mind, beyond the mind. Yeah. What are you becoming beyond Ananda or something? That the Atma is beyond the mind has to be known by the mind. And the whole process of knowing all that is explained. So even though Jnanam is a mental activity, it is not an action. He elaborately proved that last time. Because Chodana is not there for an action. One Chodana, what else? Purushatantra. That means you can do Kartum Shakti. You need not do Akartum Shakti. You can do it differently. Anyatha Kartum Shakti. This option is not there with knowledge. With action it is there.
Yeah.
So Chodana can come from the Shastra, the religious text. It can come from your environment alone, peer pressure, or media created, your advertisements, etc. Yeah. You see a new ad, new car, this, that, etc. Hey, I want that. Chodana. Your own desire. Chodana. For married men, one great Chodana, your wife. That's on a Sunday. Throughout the week, you are the Chodana for the wife. Okay.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
all Brahmanas are Vastu Tantram.
Whereas Vastu Tantram is true to the object, there is no choice available. This is a pen. If you recognize this pen, can you take it as a rabbit? If you are taking it as a rabbit, it's a conscious choice you are making. That's no more knowledge. Either it's a mistaken notion or a conscious imagination that you are doing. It's not knowledge then. Then it becomes karma. But this is a pen. You can't know. You can't even not know. That's why traveling in Bombay, you will see sights, sounds, smells which you wish you hadn't. Smells especially. I wish I, but choiceless, you get it.
So one more.
Yeah.
It comes Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam.
Yeah.
But at many places it is Anandam.
Anandam, yeah.
Both
So
are
Anandam and Anandam are used interchangeably. Anandam is used because
bliss.
what your emotional state is when that limitlessness manifests in your mind.
Okay, okay.
See, normally only the consciousness matters. The limitless aspect of the consciousness is not manifest often. But whenever it is manifest, what do you feel?
Kuch bhi kar sakte.
Great, blissed out, happy. So the word Anandam is used to include that because that's what people are seeking. People are seeking a fullness. Therefore, that word is used very often as Ananda. It's nothing but Ananta. To translate it as bliss, etc., becomes a problem because there is no communication. Bliss is highly subjective. There is no communication. If I use the word bliss, what is bliss? It's highly subjective. Whereas if I use the word fullness, it feels so full and complete. You can't add or take away from a happiness. Now here, there is some sort of communication. Whereas when I say limitlessness, the communication is clear. Unconditioned by time, space, nature, etc. Therefore, there's communication possible. That's why the word Anandam is used limitedly. By definition, you use the word Satyam Jnanam Ananta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prashant, you have a question.
Swamiji, just one question. You said in this case for Jnana there is no Chodana like karma.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, what about Mumukshutvam that we have? That is also a desire only, right? So
Yeah.
is it
But-
Jnana seeking is also a desire driven?
There is a big difference. Between mokshecha and a desire, there is a huge difference. A desire is something that you pick up in time. Various reasons, psychological, environmental, etc. But it is picked up in time. Okay? Up to now, I was not thinking of it. Then I saw an advertisement. I said, hey, I want that. So at that time, I picked up that desire. Okay? This is picked up. Plus, all desires may not have fulfillment. I have a strange desire. I am to flap my hands and fly. That's not going to happen. I can put gliders on and fly. That's a different thing. Glide. That also not fly. Glide. But I may have a desire. So all desires won't have fulfillment. And it's picked up in time. Moksha is not picked up in time. That's your driving force in your whole life, in your evolution also. It's not picked up in time. It may be discerned in time. Up to now it was lying buried under all my other pursuits. Now suddenly I became aware of it. That can happen. But it is not picked up. It's not a desire you pick it up. It is lying quietly in your mind, driving you to do a lot of things. That's why moksha ichha is behind every desire of yours. That's why no desire seems to give you what you want. It's very peculiar. You have a desire, you fulfill it. Momentarily you are happy. After that what?
कंटाला आ जाता है.
Kantala, exactly, you got bored with it. Only this much. Enough. You see the limitations of it. You see this. Why? Because you're looking for fulfillment. That's why you're looking for more than what a desire can give you. So it's the moksha ichha that's expressing as a desire, trying to draw your attention. Hey, something is lacking in you. So first I think, because I'm focused externally, I think, is lacking in my life. And I set everything fine. Plus, of course, our cultural upbringing is also there. You ask a child, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the child says, I want to be happy. Yeah, but that's fine, but what do you want to do to become happy? Okay, the kid is being very honest, okay, I want to be happy. And you are now trying to make that kid define externally what will make it happy. Isn't it true? Yeah. In fact, the Shastra does not give you Dharmartha Kama. Shastra only categorizes your pursuits into Dharmartha Kama. Even if the Shastra was not there, Artha Kama will definitely be there in your life. Well, because Paranchikani Vyatirnit Swayambhu Paran Pashyati Nantaratma. Sense organs turned outside. Therefore, my focus is out there. I mean, sense organs are meant for functioning. They have to be focused outside. Therefore, Paran Pashyati. What do I see? So, what do I set up my goals as? That's why it happens to all of us now. I mean, our generation happened a lot. When we passed out of school, what are the options available for us to do? Engineering, medicine, law, accounting. That's our 4 options. These are all the options you had. So you found people at 40 they're all trying to do something different, something new. Why they found this is not what I really wanted. Yeah, even me, I became an engineer, fine. And it is good to be an engineer because problem solving skills become very good. But my strength is with people, not with machines. I'm good at what I did. I was good because that is general competency. But you do something, you can do it well. But my strength is not there, my strength are more with people. But people, I want to do BCom and do something. So, because of that, the focus externally, we think they'll give it fulfillment. It doesn't. And then we have to also, all the fairy tales waste. Every fairy tale has got a prince and a princess and various permutations and combinations of the problems that they will have to come together. And then finally it ends with they got married and lived happily ever after. You don't know what a big bluff that is. Anubhava Siddham. Hey, I am not against marriage, okay? The young girl is now become a young lady is here. Who came and asked me, Swami, are you really against marriage? Because I make jokes about it. No, I am not against marriage. I am only pointing out limitations. You're looking for moksha in marriage, you're looking for moksha in a job, you're looking for moksha in a career, you're looking for moksha in music, in art, in physics. Yeah, I told you about my junior who wants to find God through physics. I said, keep searching. I'm still waiting for him to come back. To say, no, not possible. You better come back fast soon. He's 60 already. Brilliant guy, but you have to see the limitations of your pursuit. No? Only then. So mokshecha is what is driving all these. At the back of it, it is there. So it is not picked up. Whereas a desire is picked up. And as against a desire, a natural urge will have its fulfillment. You have hunger. Food exists in the society, no? The problem of rich and poor is man-made. But there is food. If you take care of the food the Americans are wasting, there is enough to feed the whole world.
Can we say it is inherent property?
Beg your pardon?
Inherent property. Inherent.
No, not inherent. You can't say property. It's an urge, hunger, thirst. Water exists. If you go and pollute it, now what can nature do about it? In nature, solutions exist.
Mumuksham also is like that.
Your desire for air. Air hunger is there. Air exists. So all natural urges have its fulfillment. Moksha is a natural urge. Will have its fulfillment. A desire is not natural, may not have its fulfillment. Remember? Flap my wings and fly. So not have. So that's a major difference between the desire for moksha and the desire for something else. And this desire for moksha is peeping over all other desires. Why do I want that? Because I want fulfillment. Why do I want something else? Fulfillment. Why do you want that experience? Fulfillment. Yeah. So the search for fulfillment is what is always there. Why? Because of self-ignorance. I decided it is not me. I don't have it. That's why great philosophers say, you're looking for happiness. Stop looking, it's there in your own backyard. And you remember Archie comics? Yeah. Jagged is reading out from this philosophy. And Archie is in the back, looking at the back. Very true, very true. Because Betty and Veronica are sunbathing there. That apart, jokes apart, the idea is, it's not even in your backyard. It's you. But the idea that happiness is something other than me is fundamental to people. It's so natural. That's why the whole search. Yeah. Most people behave like Hagar the Horrible. You've seen that comic strip? So, his wife Helga is having tea. The Hagar walks in. I'm going on a raid to France. Do you want anything from there? To Europe. Do you want anything from there? Well, if you're going to Paris, you might as well pick up some culture. Out comes a sword. Don't worry, baby. If they have it, I will get it for you. Most of us behave like that. That I have to go out and get that happiness, So think of it next time. You think something will give you happiness. Hagar the Horrible. Hey, you can enjoy the world for what it is. I am not against enjoyment. I enjoy things myself. Okay? Everything. What is it I don't enjoy? Solitude? Yes. Company? Yes. A good meal? Yes. Fasting Shivratri? Yes. You can enjoy the whole world. No problems. But if you are looking for moksha out there, you are not going to get it. Take it as something what it can give you and what it cannot give you. It can give me this, okay, enjoy it. That's what you want, fine. As long as you are pursuing moksha, all that falls into your life without any issues. Without any issues. Don't waste too much of time and effort in that. That's all. I mean, you choose. If it's a deep-seated priority, better fulfill it. Because if you don't fulfill that, you cannot move on to something else. If it's really strong in you. Something mild, it's okay. strong, fulfill it. It's important.
Maybe Chodana is also a desire. The meaning-
Chodana can come from various things. Desire is one of them.
So what is the...
I just said religious, the Shastra saying you should do something.
Okay.
Your peer group saying you should be doing something. Your family is saying you should do something, and you say, correct, I should do that. Children saying, Mama, I want this.
So
You
means
go
the
for doing
society
it.
saying...
Chodana can come from anywhere, including yourself. Yeah.
Including yourself.
Yeah. What is Chodana? It's something that impels you to do something. That gives you a motivation to do something.
Kind of Ichha Shakti.
Huh?
Is it kind
It's connected with your Ichha Shakti, of course. But what is the triggering of that? Trigger is called Chodana. Trigger is called Chodana. Because you have to buy into that, na? That motivation to do, that you buy into that. It depends on, if you want to go psychologically, it will depend on the payoff that you are getting from it. And you always have some payoff, no? Limited, but a payoff is always there. May not be long term. Most people go for short term payoffs, not long term payoffs. Payoff means what you are getting out of it. You always get something out of it. Otherwise, why are you doing it? You drop it like a hot potato.
What is the word for long-term payoffs?
Priorities. Focus on your priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you're building up a family, it's a long-term priority. There is a payoff when you're building a family together. And there's a price to pay also. Both are there. I mean, there's always a price to pay. There's no free meal. Somebody has to pay for it. I mean, sadhus enjoy a lot of free meal, but somebody is paying for it.
Swamiji, can I say that being a Sakshi is the height of objectivity?
Height of Viveka is better to put it that way.
Can't say objectivity.
It's not really objectivity. Na? Objectivity is Vairagya.
Like I'm seeing the things the way, or recognizing.
See, even if you don't recognize the objective or the subjective value, you can still be the Sakshi.
Yes.
This is Viveka.
Swamiji, so
Yeah.
the sense organs, Jnanendriya, is not is Manasakriya, but there's no Chodana in it.
It is not, it is Jnana.
So only after it translates into
Yeah,
something.
see, now when you are trying to understand, you are dividing it. But where does your desire come from? You saw something, purely knowledge, data.
Correct.
Then you thought about it. Then you made a judgment. This is good. This is nice. This will make me happy. Then the emotion you brought it in. How will I like if I get that thing? Okay. All the emotions came. Then the desire comes up to get it. Then the action comes up.
Yeah.
So it's all connected together.
Correct.
If understanding, we are trying to make the difference. Because otherwise it's all one big mess in our minds. No?
Otherwise, it's only data. It's only Jnana.
Yeah, it's just that. When you are being totally objective, it's just data.
Correct.
But the data doesn't remain as data. It always triggers of some thinking. Then emotions come into play. There is where you need that objectivity. When emotions come into play, how objectively can you look at the data available?
Then Swamiji, that time you know na, that you are being subjective, but this is the data, but I'm being subjective for a particular
be aware of
reason
it.
because I'm functioning that way,
Which
or
is fine.
something is required
See,
to be done.
subjectivity is human. As long as that subjectivity is not going to cause any damage to you or others, it's perfectly fine.
Even for functioning, some subjectivity is required
Will
na,
be
because
there.
you require.
Even wise people have that, of
yes.
course. What do you prefer, tea or coffee?
Yeah.
Both are drink, both are certain component of caffeine and some antioxidants, etc. Objective. अरे बोलना क्या चाहिए?
Something is to be done. Some sort of judgment has to be will be there. Only thing is you realize that
Once
this is
again,
the.
for action, now the desire is how much you want it. That's how much you want it. Yeah. See, you can say, hey, nice, I like it. Appreciate it. Still be free from the desire, no? You appreciate it. It's fine, beautiful, nice. Very deep. You can. Then the desire doesn't come up. Then where will action be? If you say appreciative and leaving it, no desire, where will action come in? There's no action. Let be there, let be here.
So that's where Shama comes in, sir.
Yeah, Shamadama, etc. is all part of this game. So it's a whole thing, your mind. That adhikaritvam is a whole thing. It is not, we are presenting it separately, each one. And the whole thing is there. To look at it holistically. I know today we are going back to basics in some ways. Okay, but it is necessary to revisit basics sometimes.
Even the Chodna is impelled by your Raga Dvesha also, no?
Hey, when I am saying desire, what is the Raga Dvesha only? You are repeating the same thing, yeah. Because it can be, I don't want
some
service.
force which impels you to do.
Yeah.
There's some force now. What is, means that there's some force now?
The force
I
is,
want to do
that's what I'm
this.
saying. The force, if I am a religious person and the religion tells me something, then I will do it. There's a force behind it. If my peer group, my need for acceptance in the peer group is strong, whatever the peer group tells, I will do it. Because for me, I want that acceptance. That's the payoff that's coming in. So it's not a simple thing. There are various nuances to it. When you use the word Chodana in Sanskrit, all these nuances are covered in that. It's not just simple. Chodana is what impels you to action. Now look at it. Motivation, passion.
So basically, Adhyasa becomes the base for Chodna also.
Yeah, at the base of all is that I am a finite being. I lack fulfillment. That is the basis for the whole thing. That is
So like
Adhyasa.
that silver coin example, I thought it was silver and I went to get it.
Yeah. See, that's an objective example. Now make it with respect to yourself. I am a finite being. I am not fulfilled. That is Adhyasa. Based on self-ignorance. That ignorance of what I am. That's why I need that knowledge. That's why the solution to the human problem is not by doing. Doing will take care of food, clothing, shelter, etc. That's necessary. But this problem, your existential issue, is solved only by knowing who you are. That's why knowledge is given so much of importance culturally. So because Vedanta Jnanam was given that importance, it expressed itself to all forms of knowledge. That's why we became a culture that values knowledge highly. So because once you start thinking on certain things, you'll start thinking on all aspects now. You can't limit thinking. And even to come to Vedanta, you have to have thought about life at least, no? And gain some experiences. So up to what we did last time, clear? It's okay. I want to go back to certain basics, certain fundamentals, no issues at all. Because I want clarity. We are not completing one text after the other. We want to know the truth of what you are. A text is a scaffolding to know the truth. Clear? Nothing? Okay. All right. Then let us go ahead and see what.
Page 140. 140.
You have to see there. Yeah. All the names.
Samskarya, and then Jnanam nama manasi kriya. Yes. Yeah.
Tatraivam sati yatha bhuta.
Brahma.
This being so, what this being so? That jnanam is not manasi kriya. Okay? Tatraivam sati. Yata bhuta brahmatma vishayam api jnanam na chodanat tantram. Therefore, brahmatma jnanam, the knowledge that I am nothing but the limitless consciousness, is not based on a chodana. Okay? It's not based on a desire. It's not based on what somebody had said. Okay. Tad vishye lingadeha shrunyamane api aniyojya vishyata kunti bhavati utpaladishu pratyuksha kshurai dakshinadivat. Now he is giving an example. This is purely a shastric argument. What is ling? In Sanskrit grammar, vidhi ling, it's an order. Okay? Atmanam pashyet. Okay? Atma vare drashtavya tavya pratya.
Lingalot.
Or load can come into the picture. Okay? All these are indicating like exactly like Swarga Kamaha Yajet. You want to go to heaven? Do this. Atmanam Pashyet. It looks like an order. Chodana. It looks like a Shastric order, therefore Chodana.
See, basically it's an indicator here.
Let me now explain. You asked all your questions, now let me explain. So, it is Lingalotadya is indicating an order, a command. Do this, don't do this. Like that. Which is religious in nature. Shastric in nature. Okay? He says, Tats Shruyamane api. Even though we hear that, Aniyoja Vishayatvat. With respect to the Atma, when karma is not applicable, we discussed it so elaborately. He says, where a niyoga is not possible, you are putting a niyoga. Meaning, where an order is useless, you are putting an order. Okay. Supposing I tell you, be a human being. It's an order. I am a human being. If I say act like a human being, it is different. Because it implies somebody is not acting like a human being. But if I am saying be a human being, I am a human being. What can I do to be a human being? So my command is not applicable. Not applicable. It says, okay, Shatvat, Kunti Bhavanti. It shrinks, it says. The effect of it shrinks exactly like Utpaladishu Pratiksha Shura Taikshnadivat. I take a knife, sharp knife. Okay? And start cutting stone with it. What will happen?
Knife will get spoiled.
Exactly. The sharpness will get blunted. Same way, the vidhi is getting blunted, he says. It looks like a Atmanam Pashyata. That vidhi, that order, is blunted because you cannot have a vidhi with respect to the self. It cannot have a vidhi with respect to the self. Okay? Because aheya anupadeyat vastu vishayatva. Heya upadana vastu avishayatva. That has to go with avishayatva. It is not a matter. The Atma is not a matter for accepting or rejecting. Now in psychology we will say accept yourself. That we are talking about your personality. Why? Because subject to change. You can change some aspects of it. But before you start changing, unless you accept, you can't change it. Therefore accept yourself. Even if you want to change. Or you may need not change. Accept yourself for what you are. It's okay. It's fine. This is me. So that is psychology in terms of your personality. This is with respect to the self, the consciousness you are. You can't accept or reject it. It is you. You can't do anything about it. Except recognize it. Therefore, heya upadana avishayatvat Kimartham, then he says, all right, fine. Your example is valid. Kimarthani tarhi atmavare drashtavya shrotavya ityadini vidhi ichha vidhi chayani vachanani. Then what is the use of these sentences, atmavare drashtavya, etc., which seems to have a shadow or an impelling of the vidhi on it, or the order on it? Is that? I'll tell you. Simple. Okay. He says, Swabhavika pravritti vishya vumukhi karnarthani iti maha. Says, you have a natural tendency to go away. Remember what I quoted before? Paranchikani vetirnak swayambhu paran pashyati nantara. The sense organs are turned outside. So your whole focus of your life is external. Yeah. So this is to turn the attention from your external pursuits to knowing yourself. Because you are too invested out there. Even long after the role has become redundant, you still judge yourself by the role. Son is a grown-up Hulk, 35-year-old, you will say, I'm your mama. That's what old times say. What is the value? 35-year-old Hulk, you're a mama. Yeah, you're mama. All right, fine. What's the role of mama there? Tell me. What is the role? There's no role left. The role is over and done with. Now it's old time's sake. The fact that you are the biological mother, that's all that is there, nothing more. But there's a hangover of that role. Why? Because your focus is external. That's why I always say, Hindi films, was the biggest dialogue. Main maa hu. 35-year-old Hulk. The gundas in the area, the thugs in the area are scared of this guy. The mom will slap him and say, I'm your mother. And that guy will say, okay. We all do that. That's hangover of the roles. Hangover of the roles. But that role is external focus. No? Why am I saying roles and pointing? Because the role is an external focus, not you. It's from something that you have done at once upon a time in your life, 35 years ago. Okay, Baba, it was valid until you was adult. Okay, it was valid until you was 21, 22, 25 also. After that, what? Time to let go now. But you're still hanging on to that. Paranchikani. Paranchikani is not just external this thing. No, it's your pursuits. It's a pursuit. I'm a doctor. What happens in a party when you say I'm a doctor?
Everybody will come and...
Doctor, I have a backache. Do you have any suggestions? You went to a party to drop the role. No, my doctorate is in finance actually. Got any good market tips? Paranchikani. Everyone is Paranchikani. That's why this happens. And your functioning life, it has to be Paranchikani. External focus, because you have to get things done in the world. But where does it come from? Lack of knowledge of self. It is not that because you know the self, you don't have to do things that you have to do. No, that's not the question. The question here is turning attention. You're so caught up in that. You've forgotten what you are. You don't even know who you are. Even relatively, people miss it, okay? Yeah. Even relatively, people miss. Yeah. As a teenager, you started off with what? Ideas, this, that, etc. What happened? It got buried under the pots and pans of the kitchen. Then at 45, 50, when the kids are grown up, start thinking, oh my God, I had this, I had that. And now it is too old. Never too old for anything. Yeah, agreed, there was a false enthusiasm as a youngster. But do you remember what drove you? Even relatively it is not there. Here, we are not talking from the relative sense, we are talking from the absolute sense. You are so caught up in all this, caught up in your search for identity and meaning. You find meaning in what? Oh, working for this NGO that looks after street children gives me meaning in life. Good. Good work. Nobody is saying no to that. But that guy is only building up an industry. Good work. He's giving employment to 100 people. 100 families are taken care of. Good work. So you think only NGO work is good work and industrial work is not good work? If there is a more equitable distribution of wealth, NGOs will become redundant. Which we hope one day it will become. It's a hope, but external focus again, isn't it? I'm an animal lover. I will agitate against the Supreme Court decision. Street dogs are important, etc. What about cows? That's fanatic Hindu. Are you seeing the contradiction here? All external focus. The anti and the support, both external focus. Okay. One is based on some extra compassion, one is based on some cultural value. Here you feel a connect with that dog, street dog. There with the cow you don't feel a connect. Olden days you felt it. Why? Because human beings are the only mammals in the world that will drink the milk of another mammal. So we treat it as a mother purely because of that. A cultural respect. That's why I drank his milk here now. Right? Gave me life, it sustained me. It made me into the Hulk that I am today. Why can I chop it up and eat it? It's purely a cultural value. The other value is also compassion. But have compassion for the victims of the street dog attacks also. Have compassion for the street kid who's not getting any food to eat and is longingly watching this lady giving food to the dog but not to me. Have a bigger picture. All these are external focus. Paranchikani doesn't mean just sense organs are turned out. Understand nuances, understand the whole thing. Now in all these pursuits, you are lost. No? I mean, just imagine, this thing means so much to me. I am starting an NGO. You know how much, what a pain NGO registration, trust registration and all is. People like Sunita is helping with me, knows how much of pain all documentation is. But you're doing all that out of your passion for some stray dogs. Compassion, yeah, I respect the compassion part of it. Not everything else. Sometimes it's misplaced also. External focus. How much are you willing to do? This is along with your job and everything. No, I've given up my job, made this my main focus. Yeah, then you better see that what you are drawing from the NGO for your expenses comes with less than 20%, okay? If I am evaluating an NGO, that's one of the criteria for it. Ideally is 10%, but when you are paying salaries, 10% is too little. So I will say up to 20%. And people are surprised that I don't take anything from my trust. My students are there, no, give me Guru Dakshina. Both ho gaya. Enough. What is all this? External focus. Building up an industry, external focus. Even sacrificing your life for a country, external focus. Been there, done that. I put my life on the line. Lord didn't want me to go out there. He said, you better be here. Okay. Yes, sir. All external focus. Yes, Sunita, you have a question.
Swamiji, once a person knows the truth, they will have to take some identity, no? Without identity, you can't exist, no? Something will be there.
Not an identity. You'll
And then
play.
if you, in any role you take,
You'll play few roles.
100%, and then you give your 100%.
Yeah.
Can't just do half-hearted, just thinking that
No.
it's an external.
But remember,
person.
it's a mithya identity. It's a dress you're wearing.
Yeah.
Your ahankara, which is adhyasa, becomes a dress you're wearing.
Yeah, but any dress, like for example a soldier, even if he knows that he is wearing a dress, he will give his 200% to
Of
it.
course.
So it becomes a very close identity.
So
right?
there's a difference between being committed to an external focus and taking it as real. There's a big difference in the two. I can do a job even if it's not real. No? Yeah. Can you do something knowing 100% that it's going to fail, but still has to be done? Most of us cannot.
Very difficult.
Huh?
Very difficult.
But I'll tell you a case. One of my students' daughter was getting married. It was a nice, very nice ceremony, beautifully done, decoration, this, that, top class. But when I'm close to people, I am sensitive to their unsaid things. So I got hold of the mother. I said, you don't seem to be totally happy with this. She looked at me and said, Swamiji, I know this is not going to work out. I know this marriage is not going to work out. I'm conducting 100%, I know this for sure. I said, did you talk to your daughter? I have talked, but she's keen. So as not to lose my daughter and to validate her feelings, I'm doing it. And she was right, within 6 months the marriage broke up. But the bonding between the mother and daughter became very strong in that time. So sometimes you do a thing, knowing it is. I said this before, no?
No.
Kali Yuga, correct? We are all in the beginning of Kali. Tell me, are things...
Only?
Huh? First quarter, yeah. 3 quarters are left. So, now tell me one thing. Are things going to be better or worse? Worse, no? If things are going to be worse, why are you bothered about society, TV? Get moksha for yourself, sit down aram se in one place and life is over, fine, you're free, na? Why bother about teaching in society, putting up an ashram, this, that? Public reaching out programs, why are you doing all that? Do you need it for yourself? No? I'm Ananda. Why? Okay, taking a small class where there are about what? 30 people. Understandable. Of course, those people they are serious, they want to know. Why are you creating teachers for the future, etc.? For that so much of work is involved. Headache. In your old age, you are taking on samsara. You should be retiring. Remember, in sannyasa, there is no retiring, there is only expiring. Okay. Why? It's a losing battle. We know that. This is called rear guard action. You know, when Kalki Avatara has to come, he has to have good people. He has to have an environment where he can grow with this cultural base. He has to have people who will form his forces. So we are talking of Akhanda Bharat. Bharat may shrink further. How do you know it won't shrink? It may shrink further. Kali hai. It may expand also. Expansion, contraction is part of nature anyway. Oh, we got GK back. Correct. You will get part of it back in the next 10 years. It will happen. It's a foregone conclusion. Inevitabilities. Okay, some part of Sindh also will come in. I'm telling you. It will happen in our lifetime. So all of us can check up whether this will happen or not. Okay. But it may contract also. Expansion, contraction is part of the game. Socio-political realities. And if you go by the larger picture of Kali Yuga, contraction is more likely. But why? There should be still enough things left, dharma left, so that Kalki Avatara from kid can become a man. Man enough for Parashurama to teach him, for Ashwadhama to lead his forces. Forces to be there. So what we are doing is going to affect 20,000 years down the line. But there is still an external focus. Nobody can have that long focus unless you know the truth, okay? Nobody can keep 20,000 years as a focus. Unless you have known the truth yourself and you are not externally focused. You have known the truth, you know you are a fulfilled being. Out of that fullness, the whole thing is coming out. Therefore, what does these statements do? Turn your attention from the external focus that you have to yourself. Not internally. Internal is also external, other than you. Anything that you objectify is other than you, including your mind, etc. So change your attention from your external focus to yourself. Atma vari drashtavya. The Atma that objectifies your mind, that objectifies your desires, that objectifies your feelings, that objectifies your thinking, that objectifies your body, that objectifies the whole external world where your focus is. That I, Atma, that Atma, drashtavya. Know that. Not just a mere directional change is huge. It's huge. We heard it a lot of times, oh, change of direction. But now understand it, all its nuances. Brahma Sutra class, okay? So the whole thing, that focus change has to happen. You may still have things to do in life. That's okay. That's okay. You can always do anything that is meant to be done. What's the big deal about it? Because things have to be done. So, then do it. No big deal. There's no big deal about it. It's something you're doing to take care of your life. You're managing your life. Managing life always happens. Whether you are a wise person, you are a householder, you are a monk, whatever. Managing life has to happen. No? Sounji, what if you are living as a sadhu in Rishikesh? They're also managing life is there. Why? Where are you going to sleep? Winter, where are you going to sleep in a manner that you are protected at least from the breeze if nothing else, and the cold? Where are you going to get your food from? You have to manage, na? The kshetra is there, na? Bhiksha jana padta hai, na? Tino kaal ateet hai, you are beyond the 3 periods of time. Correct? But you better manage your time and go on time for the bhiksha, otherwise you will have to go hungry. Correct? Never ask sadhu in Rishikesh, a traditional sadhu in Rishikesh time. The response is straight. जो तीनों काल अतीत है उसको टाइम से क्या मतलब है? But he'll also have a clock in his room. Why? He's got to go to the bhiksha. What he's saying is a fact. What is the need of time for someone who is beyond the 3 periods of time? But you know, my tummy is not beyond 3 periods of time. It is trying to be by coming out and out. But it has to, something has to go in there, you know. At least twice a day it has to go in there. Are you getting that? This is life management that happens. Your focus can be the self and still manage life. What's the problem? Some require more attention, some require less attention. Going for a bhiksha, less attention. Functioning as a doctor, etc., more attention. But life management has been done everyone. Depends on the roles you're playing. You're managing your roles. Big deal. They become that much only. Managing roles. Of course you'll do a good job. You think Bhishma didn't do a good job on the Mahabharata film? He was a wise person. A damn good job. His job was a tough job. What? Soldier, chopping off people's heads. One battalion every day. You want more than that? You want more management than that? If he had not fallen the day he fell, the whole Pandava army would have been wiped out by one man. He knew full well what he could do. That's why he made those conditions. I will not kill any of the Pandavas, all their children. All those conditions he made before he entered the war. Because he knew what he is capable of. He is managing his life in keeping with his commitment, his promise, in keeping with his lifestyle, in keeping with what he knew. Management. One of the most difficult jobs he had. Then there is an unsung hero in the Mahabharata. I'll talk about him sometime. Who's not often recognized as the hero in Mahabharata. So some other time I'll talk about that. So this is as far as the Ling Lotadaya when it comes to the Atma Jnana.
So, Swamiji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, this sentence will actually depend on the person's understanding at what stage, and because initially it may be.
Yeah. Always that.
It'll vary, right?
Yeah, of course it'll vary. When you first come to Vedanta, the understanding of the statement will be different from now. Yeah, that's true. Okay. There is more to this, but good place to stop. So next Sunday is Shivratri, so no class here. We'll have that online session, 8 to 10 in the night. Because Shivratri. So no class. So spend the time in getting your mind ready. Prayer, fasting, japa, puja, whatever you want to do. Whatever you need to get this mind ready.
8 to 10 night, 8 p.m. Saturday.
Yeah, give me a number, I'll send you the link. Yeah. Oh, that's it.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much.